Hey everybody, if you offend easily, go find something else to do in your mama's basement for a little while. There's Connect 4 back there. Go look for it. You might even find some Monopoly, some pickup sticks, something. Go look back there, okay? For at least for the next 15-20 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen and others, if you should happen to hear a vacuum cleaner going on in the background, it is because St. Alan is being a saint and vacuuming the floors for me so that when I get done with this video, all I gotta do is go shampoo the carpets and mop, which honestly, those are the parts of Sunday floor cleaning I like the best. I don't know why. I love shampooing my carpets. I don't know. I guess I'm a water element. I get to play with water. Okay. But anyway, yesterday we talked about death, and apparently enough of y'all like this conversation. I actually want to go into a different direction based upon that conversation. I told y'all I could go in so many different directions. Well, we're going to go in one today. Today's topic is dun dun dun, generational trauma. Alrighty, folks, let's unpack this one. So, many years ago, we're not going to specify because that would take math I don't feel like doing right now. A piece of property had been unofficially sold on paper, with the understanding that my grandfather would take care of the owners and the man and his sister, who were in their 90s, that he would take care of them in their old age, let them stay on the property, make sure their needs were, and that's something you just did in small, rural, southern, Louisiana. Yes, I'm from Louisiana, so this would be when my grandfather was still a young enough man. My grandmother, whose name was Amelia, loved children, wanted a dozen, cried when the family female parts issues hit and she had to have certain bits removed. After 8, she wanted a dozen. This piece of property, my grandfather was running a sugarcane farm on 60 acres in exchange for taking care of the old man and his sister, which was something that you did. This wasn't some shady practice or anything. This was something you did, okay? And this was a legit thing. But apparently the old man's sister was a piece of work. Like, my mother, this is all stories my mother told me. The old man's sister apparently always was mad that he sold the property to my grandfather, and actually would have, from what I hear, would actually have the old man out on gravel on his knees and just beating him, screaming at him to go get the property back. Like, that was the piece of work, okay? So every so often the old man would actually come up front and argue about it. My mother would note that the man hated the German Shepherd. Apparently this is relevant. And I'm just going to stop right here and say, if anybody from the family's listening to this, I know this is a trigger for everybody else of my mom's immediate siblings. So, but my mom apparently was one of the ones that could talk about it, which is why I know so much. But he hated the German Shepherd, according to her, which is relevant to what happened that day. So that particular day, he had come up front. And the man always carried a double barrel shotgun with him, from what I was told. He always had this, because again, this was kind of something you did. You're in a rural southern town, and I do mean rural at the time. Like, the road was Highway 1 and Highway 308 on either side of Bayou Lafourche. God, I've been out of Louisiana for too long. But it wasn't uncommon to carry a gun around. There's still some wilderness around here, and the kind that could probably bounce a bullet off its head. We're talking alligators and stuff like that, okay? He had come up front. My grandmother my mom talks about her wearing like a shawl, kind of like, she called it like a diaper wrap, but it was like around my grandma's shoulders. And I'm assuming it's like those thin cloth, and apparently it was big enough it was wrapped around her shoulders. She was doing something, and I know that because when I was growing up, there was still a chicken coop there. And Aunt Darlene was dancing around her or bouncing around her, trying to get her to let her go to a friend's house. My great grandmother was inside doing dishes at the window, watching. My mom and her only younger sibling out of 8. By the way, 7 girls, 1 boy. Okay. Um, they were inside playing, but the door was open, or just the screen door was there. And I don't remember where she said Grandpa was, but I know he was there somewhere. Okay. And I also want to say that around this time, it was not unusual for the highways to be dead. Like, absolutely dead of traffic. My mom would say when she was dating my dad that he would often just take a nap in the middle of the road and wait for someone to come along to give him a ride back into town. We're talking rural, okay? But this particular day, it was unusually busy. Like, there was actually even a cop out there directing traffic. And this is also relevant. So the old man went up there. My Aunt Jardine was on the couch sleeping because she had gotten off of shift as a nurse. So she was on the couch sleeping. Aunt Leola was somewhere around the back. And I don't remember where everybody else was. Just my mom and my Aunt Brenda were there inside the house, not far from Great Grandma by that back door. I actually grew up in that house part of my life. The house is actually important to me. Anyway, when the old man came up front, he started arguing with my grandmother. And my mom speculates, because she knew they were arguing about the dog. I mean, the property came up, but they were arguing about the dog. He was always griping about the dog. It was a German Shepherd. He was always griping about it. And my mom believes that when the gun went off, he might have been trying to hit the dog. And instead caught Grandma in the right side. My mom said the dog was on the right side. Caught her in the right side. She didn't die right away, but the cop came off the road, actually came out of the car before the car stopped, because my mom said the car hit the fence. And had the old man on the ground immediately. They started, rushing. The services and whatnot were on the way, trying to help Grandma. From what my mom said, Great Grandma watched the whole thing happen. My mom said she didn't see the actual shot itself, but with where she was, she looked over in time to see Grandma fall to the ground. Not get hit with the shot, but to see her fall to the ground. Apparently there was another neighbor who had saw the whole thing, and Aunt Leola managed to go after him and tackle him, and he just kept yelling at her. He didn't see shit. He didn't say anything. He didn't see anything. Aunt Geraldine woke up. It was either Aunt Geraldine or Aunt Leola, but I'm pretty sure it was Aunt Geraldine, or not Aunt Leola, Aunt Lucille. But I'm pretty sure it was Aunt Geraldine woke up from where she was sleeping on the couch. She had been just asleep because it was hot. And she came running to the door, and my grandpa was like numb from the situation because he just told her to put some clothes on. According to my mom, that's what he said. She didn't die right away, but she went into the hospital and died a few days later. My grandfather loved her so much. He went into a depression so deep he stopped eating. He just stopped. He laid in bed and just waited to die. And like the aunts and uncles were coming along and determining who would get what kid, and like separating the family and starting to make arrangements and stuff. He had just laid down and was trying to die. And according to my mom, her and Aunt Brenda snuck into the room one night. Like, we're talking preacher had come and given last rites and everything to this man. This man was going to die from heartbreak. And my mom and Aunt Brenda snuck in because Aunt Brenda was his favorite. And my mom said she stood guard while Aunt Brenda climbed up in the bed with him and just said, "Daddy, don't. Daddy, please don't." Or something to that effect. And she said that Grandpa put his arms around Aunt Brenda and started crying and said, "I'm so sorry. I almost forgot." Got up the next day and went about his farm. This man ran that farm with his daughters. We're talking strapping machetes to them and cane knives and even hitting them with razor straps and shit. Like, he ran the farm with his daughters because his son, of course, was the golden boy. And then, of course, there was the baby, Aunt Brenda. So it just left the rest of them who weren't already working. Like, my mom had scars on her, you know. I don't know if I've explicitly stated it by now, but I've damn sure implied it that I had a really rough childhood. A really, really rough childhood. And there's a lot of times I wonder what might have gone differently in my life if my grandmother had lived. We're talking a generational trauma from the death of a woman who loved children. The kind of person my mom might have been if she had gotten to grow up with that woman. Instead of my mom growing up with a man who was heartbroken and abusive. Not to mention, apparently, one of mom's older siblings was also abusive. So, who's to say what my daughter's life might have been if I had been raised by a woman who had been raised by a woman who loved children? Because I ain't even gonna try and lie to y'all. I could have been a lot better parent. A lot better. And trust me, that is some heaviness I live with, knowing that I could have been a lot better. So I don't want to hear it out of y'all. Ain't nothing y'all gonna say gonna be worse than what I already put myself through for my failings and my shortcomings. With generational trauma, what might have been had the woman who loved children lived? And you know, I spent a lot of time being angry at my mom and hating her. In fact, to the day she died and beyond, I loathed this woman for the childhood I had. And my therapist, one of my best therapists, because I'm currently doing AI therapy. Okay. But she had me do like a chart. Write down my mom and all of her traumas that had been around her, that she went through. Things like drug abuse, uncle touchies, and physical abuse, mental abuse, financial problems. Like, had me list out all of these things from my mom, myself, and my daughter. And I used color markers, circle where all the traumas were the same. Pick a different trauma with a different color and circle, and just keep circling and laying it out who had what trauma. I spent a lot of time hating my mom until that chart, because I know some of the abuse she went through. And I know it wasn't even all of it, just the stuff she told me. And I realized I didn't have anywhere near the trauma she did. She was definitely a crappy mom, and she managed to protect me from some of what she went through. She gave me less trauma than what she had. And I looked at my chart versus my daughter's chart. And I guarantee you I'm going to hate myself to my dying day for the ways I have failed my daughters. But that's a whole nother topic I don't want to get into. But she didn't have anywhere near the trauma I did. let alone the trauma my mom did. So you know what? We have big generational trauma that hit. And then we have evidence of generational healing. And it's been slow. We're only getting one or two little things right per generation. But we're fixing it. We're getting better. We're accomplishing it. So even a small improvement is something. And being able to look at those charts helped me realize that my mom honestly did the best she could, given what she had. And that whilst I could have definitely done better, the way I handled my childhood still allowed for a little improvement. So I can give myself just a tiny bit of grace, because the generational trauma is healing. So one of these days, folks, I'm going to get into a whole conversation about nature versus nurture with y'all. But in the meantime, I have kept y'all long enough. Let's go ahead and get to a quick reading. Which, by the way, thank y'all for allowing me to ramble about a conversation so deep. I know y'all come here for my addictive energy, but we're getting into some deeper subjects now. I'm starting to vibe with y'all. I'm starting to relax a little bit about sharing my life on camera. So, yeah. Let's get some reading for y'all today. So first and foremost, we're using our Deviant Moon deck. And okay, so apparently I've already gotten the message. Y'all see the message, the crow is carrying a letter. Yes, it's a concept of reaping rewards, harvesting what you sow, which means I'm not at harvest time yet. I'm still in the planting season. I know that. So the fact that I'm not getting what I wanted, or I was wondering why I wasn't getting it, I received my message, apparently. And y'all may remember that the message was that I don't get it. I have to do it myself. Everyone around me can get the divine blessings, but all I can do is bless them, not myself. Can't ask for myself. That was the message I got. That is the message I'm adhering to. And for you, those of y'all who are following along for a cold reading, you've gotten the message. Don't try and reap your rewards now. Keep working on your garden. The Hierophant, the Holy Man, the High Priest in some decks. I think. Yeah, Hierophant. He's your person with the divine message. And I say he, but of course he, she, masculine energy, if, them, they, other, all. It's an all. All right. But it's the holy person. They usually help you on your spiritual path. So I'm going to be on the lookout for anybody that has possibly another message. Y'all should do the same. All right. Oh, it's not a time for play. It's a time for seriousness. And that's a direct message to me. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty addicted to Baldur's Gate 3. Pretty addicted to it. And I have been making it a point to not let that stop me. I'll at least I've been good, but I've been bad at the same time. Like, I could still stand to shore myself up a little bit more and put a little more foot to my own ass. So same thing for y'all, of course. We discussed that with the first card. Time for work, not for reaping the rewards. Time for work, not for play. Oh, justice in reverse. So I'm still dealing with some karma going around. Now, y'all may be waiting for an update on the whole electric scooter thing. I don't know if I'm using the right word. Because it's not like one of those ones you write. It's one of those ones you... Anyway, y'all, I thought everybody around here that I would think, they know nothing. Nobody knows anything. I've got nothing coming up on Nextdoor, Facebook. I've got nothing on the radar here. I'm starting to get a little concerned. But I'm going to give it till tomorrow, and then I'm turning it over to the fairy stepdaughter. All right, I think I've been more than fair, and if I haven't been, then tough titties. Smooth sailing the world. No, not the world. Just smooth sailing. Yes, it's the six of swords. Smooth sailing, going on to the next thing, going on to brighter pastures, brighter waters. I know that I've got, and I've been saying it for a little bit, something's coming. I need to put the work on, but something's coming, and it's going to be good, and I've got to get her done. Same thing for y'all. This is not the first time we've gotten our six of swords like that. All right. Last card, folks, and then I'm going to let y'all go for the day. We've got, oh no, who's dealing with a heartbreak? Who's dealing with some emotional turmoil? We know it's me, but is it y'all? Right. We have heartbreak coming along. For those who might need a little extra card on that, we have an idiot. It's because of an idiot. You might be the idiot. They might be the idiot. But we're all idiots, so. All right. If you wanted to know why you're heartbroken, it's because of the fool. Flat out. All right, folks, I've kept y'all long enough, or maybe I haven't kept y'all long enough. Miss me when I'm gone. Either way, been a pleasure as always. Bye, y'all.